Hi, so in this video I would like to share one technique that helped me a lot to resolve many issues in my belief system, although of course belief system is something that is not so easy to break through just by few, through few months or something. It takes year, takes a whole life. But anyway, in the beginnings of this, like a transformation, I discovered some technique that I started to use, and I got very passionate about it, and I was using it at almost anything, any situation and any moment when I got triggered even a little bit. So it's based on triggers, and so you take the trigger because it means that there is something in you that you judge or whatever, something negative, let's say negative, limiting and so on. And the trigger is the significator, or how to say it, word, for knowing that there is something that you can let go or shift that is not aligned with your best self. So when I was using this, when I look back, I know that this was something that helped me a lot on my way to, here and to what I do. That this was really something that helped me to accelerate a lot, because it's also helping you to open to your higher self. And the higher self is the first thing and gateway to any guides or extraterrestrials or whatever, higher other dimensions. So that's why I want to share this technique. I discovered it in 2012, and around that time I was really interested in it and so on. And in my country we have one blog, kind of like esoteric or so, and around the time I looked there and I even shared some things there, but when I was reading it, I saw that there were so many articles and titles with that kind of name that seemed like those people also get it. I call this technique mirroring technique, and something like that is also in psychology, but that's completely not this. And later, it was 2 years later, I was sharing it with someone, and they told me or gave me other resource that this is the woman that also is sharing it for many years, I don't know, 30 or more, and it's Byron Katie. So it's the technique that she is sharing, and you can search her. And there was also one video that I saw. Well, I was not watching her videos at all, but I saw this one. It was exactly it. It's a video where she has on stage some girl, and she asked her to write a letter to her mother and write their descriptions of her, like how she treats her, anything, just whatever you want to let out and tell about that person. And then she asked her to of course read it, and then she asked her to replace her mother in the letter for I, that she was talking about herself. And it was so funny to to watch her, because as she was reading it, and except of you and mom, she said I, she realized all those moments when she was acting the same. So, or it can be different, and different reasons and so on, but you then see it in a different way and realize it. And that is the moment where you can investigate and dive deeper, because it opens you. When you go into describing anything that pisses you off on that person or something, that is really opening you up to all that flow and so on. So when I was using this technique, I also allowed myself to, because I had an intention what I want to do with it afterwards, but until I described everything what I wanted to, and to let it out completely, after that I of course I was even still watching myself and kind of recording what I was saying in my head. And then when I finished, I then turned everything what I said to myself and was reflecting on myself. I was sharing this technique also with some other people sometimes when I was seeing that this would be something that would really help them in their struggles and so on. But I didn't understand that they didn't use it. They, I don't know, like didn't listen or well, I'm not sure. It was just something that they just discarded immediately or didn't resonate or something. But one person was so nice to actually investigate like why she was not using it. And then she told me that when she was going through it, she realized that she had that belief, it's also belief, that she shouldn't think negatively about herself. So there was the moment when it stopped her. Like, I cannot think this way towards me because, you know, I am perfect person, light, and so on. All these phrases, of course, it's true in a way, but we have these layers of these beliefs and so on through which we act. So in order to really feel that way about ourselves, we need to go through them and know ourselves really inside. And this is the technique that will help you to reach deeper inside yourself. So that's why I really find it like a great technique. And I was using it, and there were moments like I remember this one because I wrote a blog about it in 2013, and so as I said before, that I was using it at any small thing. I was at school in the university, and math teacher, it was like a young guy, it's not old, but he had he had his wallet in the back pocket of his trousers, and that wallet was, I don't know like what he had in it, but it was like this thick, you know? So it was almost like square, and he had it on his butt, you know, and I was like staring at it like, why? So, and I was like, you know, I was intuitive and esoteric and stuff and spiritual for many years, like all my life basically, but still, you know, I was, when I discovered about these triggers, how they can serve us, you know, I noticed it more. So in that moment I was like, why I judge it, like, doesn't matter, you know, like, whatever, about looks or what, you know. So because I had these programs of like, you have to, I don't know, present yourself in a certain way, to have certain clothes or whatever, so there was something in me, you know, that I had this programming also. So I looked at it like, okay, it doesn't matter, but what this you know, like mirrors in me. So obviously it was something about like appearance, just really about appearance and so on. I don't remember what I was actually asking. I would need to check that blog that I wrote, but it was like, it also needs very specific questions. I can ask like why, but not always that works. So I need to ask different easy questions, and really when you are doing it, you are processing it already, so it somehow shifts slowly, or it can happen slowly. And when you hit the right question that is similar to why, I don't know, I cannot right now come up with anything else like that, but it really depends on the situation. You can ask many different things of yourself, and according to what you are processing and thinking about. So in that moment, when I really, you know, and I follow several like questions. Okay, I have this question, there's the answer, what I would answer, then I can ask another question and so on. And until I got somewhere, there was this simple opening, but of course, anyone knows it. Okay, we don't love ourselves enough. Yeah, we don't have enough self-love. But in that moment, you know, it's just mental thing. You cannot really feel it at that moment. You can maybe see like where you are not loving yourself enough, or how you act from that you don't do some or you do things that doesn't serve you and so on. So there are just the symptoms of it, but can you really feel it that you don't love yourself. So in that moment when I was asking these questions, I have a sudden opening of like, I don't love myself. So it was like that, and then when there is that opening of that hole or whatever that is, I can give myself more love. And yeah, I was also processing something like a narcissism or something like in my face more, or it never went with me to the degree that it was like an artistic or something, but it was similar to other people that are like making selfies too much and they are shallow or something in that sense. I was never doing it that way, but still I was seeing something or feeling something similar in me, maybe a little bit more healthy, let's say, but still something. There is some vibration that we have probably that is making us to feel, so some people act on it or develop it even more, let's say, but it was in me, and that was the feeling of not really loving myself enough. Of course I still do many things that that are showing me, or I can see through them, that obviously I'm lacking something there, like confidence, because it's not self-love is also very like it's not just like a simple love, but it's also that confidence is part of the love, and self-esteem, and I don't know, whatever there is, self-respect, and you can find many things. So it's all part of that overall love for yourself. So yeah, so this is also like example, and I had many of these kind of experiences. In recent years I was not using it enough, or not much, and I think not enough probably. But yeah, at certain point when energy is open a lot and when you are empathetic, it's hard to distinguish like what is really coming from other people and what is yours, and so on. Okay, some people say like, of course, when it somehow resonates in you, that you can feel that much into the other person, that means that you have something similar in yourself. But I don't see it that way. Well, it can be, and it's about like really distinguishing very small differences, what is really inside and you and triggering you, that it can be very small. That's why this is how I see it, that's why I brought into my life certain people or experiences that are very rough or very difficult and so on, in order for me to find those little speck of the dust in me that I can wipe out, and in my opinion, why I actually can feel certain type of emotions from people, it's not mine, it's theirs, but it's because I am human and I am deeply connected with myself and know the human experience, so I can experience it, but it doesn't mean that it's something that I would be holding in myself. I am actually, it can work this way if the person allows it. When I actually receive that emotion and energy, I can get it through me, and when I don't want it to stuck in me, I have to allow it to come through me completely and to just release it and shift it through my chakras in whatever way it does. It has to be done, and so I think it can be helpful for a person if they allow it. But if they choose to still recreate these patterns and these feelings and these energies, I cannot be in that, or because I cannot stop it in a way. Of course I would like to learn it to block it, but yeah, I feel a lot of energies from other people, and I always have to watch myself and like how I react. So yeah, so it got much more difficult to use this technique last years, especially, I guess, around, yeah, I don't know, like maybe last 3 at least years. But yeah, it still can work when I find this some little trigger in me, like what is it. And actually this is also one experience that I had. It's not that much of like using this technique, but okay, 40 minutes, but it's almost something similar. So I received certain energy from someone, and it was almost like a psychic attack. It was very strong, negative emotions. It was something like really the energies came from not just from the person, but many like negative beings that were connecting and influencing this person. So it was like telling or trying to convince me and that person that we are completely unworthy, like we are, or how to say, I wanted to use the word shit, but I somehow cannot put it together. Anyway, so yeah, worthless shit. That's what I wanted to say. So that's how I said like completely not deserving of being alive, existing, anything. It's like this was so dark, you know. And in order to shift it and transfer, I really had to let go, and I was in that energy motion through me, and diving also deeper in this specific person. So it was not just me, but through that person I discovered like many beliefs that person was having and so on, and feelings inside that were not resolved and so on. But behind all that, I did complete end. This was not me, that was not mine, but I was processing an energy of that other person. But at the end I found something very deep for myself. It was something with my mother, but it was amazing. So I couldn't find it. I wouldn't be able to find this feeling, or how to say it, and I cannot even remember it, because it's just pure feeling of something that is really hard to describe with the words. But it's when you find it, it just shifts, you know. You find some part of yourself that was dark, and you just illuminate it with the light, with your consciousness. So it's enough, you know, to just and not suppress it, you know, when you find it. So this dark experience really led me to something also to help myself. So, and it was really something that without this experience I wouldn't even be able to find. So even these kind of experiences are worthy, although I cannot, even when I look back, I cannot remember like what it was, how it changed me or something. But in the overall, just we change, you know, through years and so on. And when we then look back, like how we felt or how we behaved in a certain situations a few years back, we can see the difference. But in the now, or even within a, I don't know, 1 year or so, you cannot see that much, you know. But when it shifts more and more, you can actually then realize how you shifted. So, but even like let's not focus like on this slow process. But even when you use that one technique, it's very or when you shift something, when you really feel its energy that it's coming into, it's really nice experience that you experience at that moment, that energy and so on. So even that small moment is worth of maybe trying it and even diving deeper without you know, fear, and that you really can change or whatever. Just look at even yourself, like why are you not looking at your triggers, and you know, so start somewhere. You know. So yeah, I guess this is all what I wanted to share. And yeah, maybe it will be helpful for someone, and I hope it will be back this evening. Sorry. So yeah, I hope I will do now more of these videos, because I feel pretty in a flow. I changed the place where I'm living, and yeah, today I went up on this hill to record this video. So yeah, see you soon, probably also with the video and some other stuff, and also channeling. I would like to do channeling, yes. Like this, you know, directly on the camera, take certain topic or idea, theme, and then channel about it. Like, let's what do you want to say about it, Shayla, or maybe some other beings, who knows. So bye, and enjoy your time. I hope you are getting more flow in your life also after eclipses.